Hey, what's up guys? It's Neurotic, and today I am featuring a AMX 5120 gameplay video in which I'm platooned with Goldslinger again. He's in his Companzer 50T, both tier 9 mediums, although the AMX was originally a heavy and therefore doesn't have medium concealment. And at the same time I want to talk about the power of platoons. That's going to be seen in this game. But since it takes us a little while to get into the game, as far as our platoon is concerned, it's a good time to cover platoons as an overall discussion and concept, and starting with the power that they have in any number from 2 to 5. The reality is that the influence a platoon can have can be exponential. In other words, 2 players, 2 tanks platooned together can have a greater effect than 2 non-platoon tanks can have. And that's strictly because there is stronger communication between the 2 than what you have within the game in its current state. Not a lot of people use the game chat for good reason, quite frankly. So platooned players already have an advantage there. B, you also have a familiarity with each other. If these tankers have platooned together many times before, then there are certain things you know you can expect from them, certain things they can expect from you, and in certain situations you already have tactics built of ways to approach things. And those are all things that you don't have playing with just the random players that you're assigned to on these teams. So that's why I say it's exponential. It's more than just 2 tanks. A 5-man platoon is technically more than 5 tanks, and this can be good or bad. The reality is, and it takes being honest with yourself, if you are a low performer, you consistently don't fire for effect, referring back to my fire for effect video, meaning that you consistently do not do damage in excess of your tank's on hit points. And on top of that, the other players that you're platooned with also have difficulty firing for effect, then you are creating an exponentially larger deficit on your team. And that's a harsh thing to say, but it is true. And it's something to consider. It's a social game, and you are free to do whatever you want with it. You know, I'm not telling you you're wrong if you're a consistently low performer and play with consistently low performers. Everybody plays for different reasons, and that's a completely different discussion. I'm just saying it's something to keep in mind. That is the effect that you ultimately have on the team. And in the same way, a platoon of good players, or very good players, it runs the gamut. Point being, however good they are, it kind of grows exponentially as they platoon. So a strong, even a 2-man platoon, but certainly up to a 5-man platoon, can really influence the outcome of a game dramatically. And you're kind of going to see that somewhat here. The 2 of us are platooned together at this point in the game, and it's early. We're not even completely 3 minutes in. We just got there. It's a very even game, and I haven't done much. I've got 388 damage. I'm not sure what damage Goldslinger is on, but he's just killed that SU over there, so he's probably on better damage than me at this point in time. But it is a slow, we're very slowly getting into it. We're not the top tier tanks. I'm not pushing up front in an AMX 5120. No thank you. It's neither a good heavy nor a good medium. When it gets down to it, it's kind of its own thing and has to be played to its strengths, which is really the autoloader. That's what it's all about. And, shooting things and not getting shot. So that's my emphasis here. I'm kind of trying to stay out of people's view range and at the same time popping them with that autoloader. And so far I haven't popped many things. I've gotten one little pin for 388, but that will soon change. So this is the point where things kind of become important. You see this E3 over here, he's going to factor in later. He's part of a platoon, a two-man platoon, with an IS-4, I believe it is. And they are going to be a couple of the last tanks alive on the enemy team near the end of this match, whereas Goldslinger and I will be the last couple of tanks alive aside from our arty at the end of the match. And I want to go ahead and say, get it out of the way, there are better players than us on our team right now. I'm aware of that. I know the gamer tags, some of them anyway. I know their skill level, and I know that on any given day they could outplay us. But as it turns out in this game, you know, they die and we survive, and it comes down to us to, I'm not going to say carry the game, but to kind of clutch it, because we're outnumbered at the end, not by a great deal, but by powerful tanks compared to us. And so it's going to come down to some tactical play. So you can see here I had 1 round left, and I'm going ahead and forcing a reload because the next time things are lit up I want to have all 4 rounds available. I have gotten up to 1623 damage, but I am still, you know, not even at my tank's hit points. Still haven't really done a lot to influence the game, even with those 5 pins. But I'm going to start influencing the game here very shortly. Right now I'm still covering this little sniping zone over here at F0, G0. I'm able to land a good shot there on the E3 before he disappears, trying for another, but drop it to the dirt. And I see that he's backing off, so I'm going to try my luck with that Minotaur, but you know, I don't even know what I'm doing there. I'm not sure why I'm aiming at the very top of his turret, but at any rate, whatever I was thinking there didn't work out clearly. At this point, though, Goldslinger has let me know that, you know, that IS-4 that I mentioned before that's platooned with the E3 is, I'm sorry, I thought was platooned with the E3. It is not. He is platooned with another heavy, which I think will come up later, so I completely screwed up that whole narrative. I apologize for that. But at any rate, the IS-4 is closing in. He's already killed one of our heavies. So I kind of take a risk here in potentially getting shot. I don't know if he's reloaded or not, but I want to get him off the board, and so I do. And I've got 2 shots left, and 6 senses on, so I'm doing kind of a slight wiggle dance. This tank isn't particularly fast, and I decide to force a reload because, again, I want all 4 shells available when it comes down to it. We're sort of formulating a plan here. We know that we've got tanks across the way. Gold is trying to figure out you know, how he wants to approach it. He's deciding to sort of be the spotter, and he does. He spots this object 705A, and that's the one that was platooned with the IS-4. That's where I was mistaken. But he was nowhere near his platoon mate and didn't do a lot of good for him. And after I donkey these shots here, I get kind of serious, and I'm waiting for him to give me a flat surface, which he does right here. And that allows me to hit the fuel tank. I try one more time. That time it does not go in, but it does hit his track. And then Goldslinger is going to finish him off while I'm reloading. And that's going to even the game up. And now it's us, a platoon, against unplatooned tanks on the other team. And that can really make a big difference because he and I are in constant communication, and none of these other players are, presumably, unless they've gone into game chat, which I doubt. So we're starting to form a strategy, what we're going to do, and Gold decides to kind of head off towards the town, or really I think he's going to head through the hills, and suddenly we're surprised by this E3 that we didn't really expect to be there. I get the shot off in him, and then Artie finishes him off, and that leaves me with 2 rounds again. Now, because I know that that Minotaur was with that E3, I'm expecting him not to be very far away. So I'm not doing, I'm not forcing a reload this time. I've got 2 rounds, which I've, taking a gamble, expect can take out the Minotaur if I pin both shots, And he could be just down here anywhere. So what I'm gambling on is outspotting him, and so I'm rolling a little slowly, rather than full speed in case he's not far away. And then I start to realize that, you know, if I'm not spotting him by now, he's my first thought is he's probably hiding over there behind cover. You know, they're just south of the bridgehead, as a lot of them like to do at the end of the game. So I think at that point that's my expectation, and he's rolling around to see if he can take the arty out. That's where Goldslinger is headed, while I am going to go knock out the Minotaur. That's our basic plan. We're just splitting off rather than sticking together, and that's going to end up backfiring a little bit, because as it's going to turn out, the Minotaur is not over here. He's actually back near their base, and I don't know whether it's he or the arty that spots Goldslinger, but I think he probably does. I think he probably spots Goldslinger before Gold is able to spot the arty, and as soon as he spots the arty, he's hit by the arty, and that leaves it me against them. And I'm looking for a shot. There isn't one right there. I've got 2 rounds left. I'm easing up on him, and there's the heavy that Gold didn't even see, and he can't see me. He's out at the outer edge of my detection circle. He's completely blind. I've put a couple of shots in. I know that the arty had been pointing over towards Goldslinger, so I'm just expecting that he doesn't know where my shots came from, and lo and behold, there he is. He appears to me. I am loading HE at this point in time and just keeping him at the outer edge of my detection range while keeping him in my spotting range. I don't want him to see me, but I want to make sure I don't lose sight of him, so that's why I'm kind of inching up as he rolls along, to just keep him within that circle. And then here we go. He can't see me even after I've fired. He doesn't know where I am, and there's the win. So bottom line, regardless of where you stand on it on platoons, they have an incredible effect, and it's something to think about, whether you're a good player or a bad player, the effect that you have. I hope that some of that was informative, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you like this video, please, give it a thumbs up. By all means, subscribe if you haven't, and I hope to see you guys out there in the future on the battlefield. Neurotic out.